the short answer is because that's how the Lord set it up. Yeah, that's what he instructed us to do. In John 20:23, Jesus speaking to his apostles, the first bishops of the Holy Catholic Church, he said to them, forgive them their sins. Those you forgive shall be forgiven them. Those sins you retain shall be retained. What the Lord was doing here was instituting the sacrament of reconciliation, penance, more commonly known as confession. But this question leads to a bigger issue. Do you have to be a holy individual in order to administer the sacraments established by Christ for his church? And early in church history, there was a heresy. It wasn't one of the Christologicals, but it was one of doctrinal implementation, I guess, known as Docetism. Docetists believed, like this question implies, that ecclesiastical actions had to be carried out by holy men, that the sacraments in particular had to be dispensed by clergy that were, as much as possible, without sin. At the time, thankfully, one of the greatest theologians in church history, perhaps the greatest behind St. Paul himself, St. Augustine, fought against Docetism, claiming that the sacraments, as avenues of grace, installed by Christ personally, could not be tainted or somehow minimalized because of the sinful nature of the human being administering them. And this makes sense, of course, because even the apostles, the men first charged by Christ to provide these sacraments, themselves were sinful men. All of them abandoned Christ at the moment of his great peril. St. Peter, the head of his church, denied even knowing Christ in the face of persecution. So naturally, Jesus was fully aware that his church was going to be managed and regulated and directed by flawed human beings. But although these men would fall short, the Lord knew that his church would always remain holy and infallible because the Holy Spirit of God would dwell inside it for all time until her master returns. The analogy I like best is this one. Good medicine is good medicine, no matter the morality of the pharmacist who fills the prescription. This metaphor is a wonderful parallel to clergy administering the sacraments. As long as your pharmacist follows the proper procedures and is well versed and qualified to dispense medication, his personal morality will bear no effect on the potency of the prescription he fills. Okay? It works much the same way in regards to the sacraments. The power and effectiveness dispensed by the Catholic Church for the sanctification of her sheep is furnished by Christ himself and sustained by the Holy Spirit of God. It cannot be polluted or marginalized due to human error.